All right, I want to make a video, and I want to talk to Eminem. No, I want to. I'm the prophet of chaos, right? And so, like, it's a prophet's duty to talk shit. It totally is. Like, oh my god. Marduk went up to Tiamat in the square, and he was like, "Hey, you're a bitch," and like everybody cheered, right? Now, when Moses did that, he got burnt, right? And that's kind of what happens when, in reality. Um, so the prophet has to be this Babylonian oaf, right? That just like, shit talks when they shouldn't be. Which, in Torah it says the wise man knows when to shut his mouth. But anyways, the prophet's not allowed to shut his mouth. The prophet's not allowed to shut his mouth at all. So here we go, Eminem. Um, I mean, there's this one rap video, right, where he's like, "Hey, if you bully my daughter, then I'm gonna punch you in your face, 'cause I'm the daddy." Ooh, right? And it's like, no, you stupid little bitch. You stupid. That's not how you should treat your daughter. You fucking little bitch. That is not how you should treat your daughter at all. That is a bad way to treat your daughter. That is a bad way to treat your daughter, Eminem. Because how would you treat your son? If your son has a bully, then you would want your son to be able to confront that bully. Because someday you're not going to be there. And what if you're not there and he gets a bully? He's got to face it himself someday. Right, but that's not how we treat our daughters. We treat our daughters like these fragile little creatures that could break at any moment. And if you bully my daughter, I'm gonna punch you in the face, 'cause I'm the daddy. Sorry, I'm your fucking daddy. You don't have a daddy, Eminem. I'll be your daddy. All right, I'll generate you if you listen. There's this ancient book called The Lamentations of Ur. And oh my god, it was powerful. Because Ur is being conquered and invaded. And the women are crying out to their goddess. They're like, "Why is this happening to us? Why aren't you? What's going on, goddess?" And they're like, "What the fuck?" They're almost blaspheming, right? But where is this goddess? This goddess is actually on the front lines of the siege around the city. Like this is a goddess that's on the front lines of the battle. And then you have that juxtaposed against these women of Ur who are just like so overwhelmed. There's this movie with Tom Cruise, War of the Worlds, and like all of the parts that have Tom Cruise in them are great. But if like they could only rewrite that movie and take his kids out, then it would be a great movie. Because I was watching it and it was just like his daughter was just annoying the fuck out of me. This is not a strong woman. This little girl, like, no, that's not a strong woman at all. She's a threat to the family. With that behavior. I mean, we should respect our daughters in the same way we respect our sons. Because we're not going to be there someday. And our daughters may need to confront a bully. And they've got to do it on their own. Because we're not going to be there. little princesses. What are the results? Right? This Lamentations of Ur. Me, hey, I respect women. Totally do. That's why I'm saying all this. I used to watch movies and shows with my dad and my family. And my dad used to watch a lot. We watched movies and shows, but some of the movies that I saw were black and white movies, and there's a lot of great black and white movies out there. But like in the black and white movies, this was back in the day, right? In the black and white movies, you'd have this woman who would start to go hysterical. She'd start to go hysterical, and my dad, he's a dark-skinned man. He gets his skin color more from his Apache grandmother, so he's not black. And he's kind of a quiet and shy person. He's kind of reserved. But like this moment would start to happen in this black and white movie where this woman starts to become hysterical, and this is like kind of like a trope in some of these movies. A woman would go hysterical, and then the male character, the main MC, he would slap her, right? And so my dad, he would see this woman go hysterical, and like a black guy, he would start yelling. He'd be like, slap her, because he knows it's coming, right? Because this was a thing in some of these black and white movies, right? And of course, boom, he ended up, Humphrey Bogart or whoever would end up slapping her, and we would all cheer. But and I am not promoting slapping women. I think that's a crime. I think those black and white movies are disgusting. And anybody who slaps a woman should be punished by the proper authorities. So, yeah, no, I mean, I'm just telling you my experience growing up. That's all I'm doing right now. That's what happened when I was a child, growing up. So that is not my experience is not a crime, but and I totally don't agree with slapping women, but it was just a different time back then, right? As they say, and not a good time at all. Like these so-called traditional times weren't. I mean, I hear there was a lot of unhappiness in the 50s and 40s and shit. And it wasn't all that it appeared. Yes, what am I talking about right now? I'm talking about, shit, maybe I'll get some of my beer and it'll come back to me. Let's see, I'm making a video on, what did I make a video on? I'm tired, fuck. Women, I think I've said it all, I mean, I respect women, I think, I think when it comes to warfare, I think women are the best, right? They're obviously the best, right? If you ever had to, if it was ever a fight between men and women, the women would win, obviously. It's just, oh my God. I totally believe that, 100%, and I'm not joking. I think if you had to describe a woman with one word, I think one word that would describe a woman is spirit, right? Women, that's a beautiful word to describe women, is spirit, right? Because, there are different spirits that you could think of. But it's all spirit, right? Different types of spirit, different varieties. One woman could have many different varieties of spirits within her, right? But, I think that's a great poetic way of describing women is spirit. I think another way of describing a woman would, if you had to nail it down to one word, would be a wolf, right? Wolf, because you know, like women on an individual basis won't like each other, but like if one woman's being attacked, all women come to defend, you know. Unlike the men who are more like lions, right? Sometimes they roar and nobody hears, you know, responds, but many times, most of the times they don't. They just fucking love their toiling and drudgery. Anyway, okay, what was the word? We got spirit and wolf. That's it. Okay. Yeah, no wolf. Like so, women won't like each other, but they'll like come together. Uh, in a pack, right? In a weak pack, but a strong pack, right? Obviously, right? Because wolves are scary. I think if another word that would describe a woman would be a spy. You know, uh, and not in the sense that they're spying for a government or a tribe or any of the spy stories. Just in the sense of like behavior, like they're constantly involved in intelligence gathering. You know, they're constantly involved in dirty operations behind the scenes. You know, I mean, secrets are their things. Anyways, yeah, I think women are great. I do. I respect them, and I think we should. And I don't think Eminem respects his daughter, because he's never had daddy to properly raise him.